Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome, my name is Marley, I'm a second year med student, and today's going to be a little bit different. Today, we're actually going to go and do this thing where a list of questions is given to me, the most asked questions on Google about med students, and I use this definitely home DIY little board to uncover and answer each of the web's who even says the web? Some of the internet's most asked questions about med students, starting with, how do med students blank? This could be really good or really bad, or a little bit of both is my guess. So any of you who watched my previous videos know that I tend to be more brutally honest than sugar-coaty. So this will be fun. I'm excited, a little nervous, but excited, yeah. Let's get going. Okay, let's do the first one. Oh, boop. Okay, there it goes. How do med students make money? We don't at all. I mean, okay, if you really are like superhuman, I know a couple of people who do work a little bit on the side. Some people are like do Amazon delivery or like DoorDash and stuff like that. Flexible, if it fits in your schedule and you are able to even do that and study, like that's beyond that's like, I'm here, you're there. But I know people that do it. So some people can make money, but in general, all we do is spend money. We just spend the government's money. We just take loans. That's how we have money, is just loans. And then we use it. And then hopefully later we'll be able to actually make money in like a decade. So yeah, there you go. Okay, next one. Nice, okay. How do med students study? Oh my gosh. That is a question that is different for every single med student. I bet. I'm almost positive. Every single med student studies very differently. It depends on which school you're at, how you learn. I personally tend to do I talked about this actually in recent videos. I'll put a link above for that. But for me, I tend to do really well with like visual mnemonics and learning. There are programs out there that basically cram information into like a scene and a storyline. And, I learn really well that way. And also through like spaced repetition, like flashcard programs, like Anki, I learned really well like with those two methods. But other people are just like, just watch lecture, ding, done. And they're auditory learners. So they like pick, just soak it all up from lecture. That's great. That doesn't work for me, but it works for other people. Every single person is going to have a different answer to this. But it is like the golden question. I feel like we're constantly like changing and adjusting how we study anyway. So like how I studied last year is totally different from how I study now. And it'll probably change a year from now again. So it's always in flux. Just depends on who you ask and when you ask them. Okay, should we do next one? Okay. All right. How do med students pay for school? Touched on that just a second ago. Loans. At least in the United States. I know like my European and like not basically all of my non-US friends out there, I know a lot of you all don't really pay for school. Or if you do, it's like heavily subsidized. And the US, it's expensive. Like I think average tuition is like $55,000 a year, somewhere in that range. Like it's a lot of money. You just ask Uncle Sam for money and then it magically shows up in your account. And you just try not to think about it too much, the crushing debt. Yeah, it's kind of brutal. The idea is that you make enough to pay it off later. Anyway, okay, so short answer, loans. I feel like I need permission to like take off the next one. I'm like looking around like, okay, am I good? Yeah, I'm good. Okay, how do med students get matched? That's a good question. I am not there yet and I haven't gone through the matching process yet. But from what I know about it, it's basically where you, during interview season for residencies, okay, so you have med school, for those who are like new to the whole timeline of how med school works. So you have usually 4, sometimes 3, usually 4 years of med school. And in your like 3rd to 4th year, you are applying to and interviewing at a bunch of residency programs across, the nation, usually. And then you and the programs that you interview at create rank lists. You create a list ranked of all the schools or all the institutions that you applied to. And you're like, oh, I like this one the best, then this one, then this one. And you make a long list of them. And then the programs themselves take a look at the applicants that they interviewed, and they rank the applicants too. And then those two rank lists, the lists from the students and the lists from the programs, get plugged into this magical algorithm that, I don't know, won some kind of crazy prize because it's like really good. I don't know how it works. I just know it's an algorithm, and it crunches all the numbers, everything that everyone puts in for rank lists, and spits out an answer for each student and program, and matches a student and a program based on the rank lists that were submitted. It's insane, actually. And so it's like this big deal. You hear about match day. That's usually in March, I think. And that's a huge deal, because that's when students figure out where they matched, if they matched. Most students match, but there are some that don't, and that's fine. There's a process for like figuring out what you're going to do for residency. It's, it works out. But for those that match, that's where you find out where you go, where you're spending the next, 3 to 7 years of your life. So it's like a big deal. And I'm sure there are some details and things that I'm missing on that, because I haven't gone through it myself yet. But that's the basic rundown of how med students get matched. Yeah, I think that covers that one. So let's move on. How do med students take notes? Oh, this is actually probably the same answer as how do med students study, I would say. Like, I personally really don't take notes in the traditional sense. I just talked about this in a previous video. A lot of people are super into detailed note taking. It's not my thing. It totally depends on the student and how you learn best. So similar answer to how do med students study for this one. Okay, next. Yeah, let's do the next one. Okay, next. How do med students study Reddit? I mean, a lot of good information is on Reddit, but also a lot of really bad information is on Reddit. So, I mean, take whatever you read on Reddit with a grain of salt. And also, same answer as how do med students take notes and how do med students study. It differs depending on the student. Okay. Oh, I think I broke this one. Oh, no, we're fine. All right, next. How do med students pay rent? Oh my goodness, all these like slight variations on like similar questions. How do we pay rent? How do we make money? How do we pay for school? But it's all through loans. I mean, unless people have some major savings or they're able to like work on the side, which that is beyond me, but like some people do it. So most people though, you pay rent with loans. Okay, next one. How do med students pay for living expenses? Y'all gotta get more creative with your questions. Okay, these are all like the same. How do we pay for living expenses? No, living expenses, rent, school, loans. Again, I mean, unless you're not in the US, in which case you might actually like not have to worry, might not have to depend on loans for this. But in the US you do. It's how we roll here, I guess. Okay, last one. How do med students get matched for residency? Oh my goodness. All right, well, I just answered that. So I don't think I have anything else to explain more about that. I gotta say that it seems like everyone's got some like a lot of similar like questions around the same similar ideas. So like, I get it. I mean, these are all important questions and slight variations in like how people ask them. I mean, it's fine. You just are gonna get similar answers to a lot of these. So yeah, I think that's it. I think I can toss that and be done. All those questions were important, even if a lot of them were similar. And so I'm glad that people are asking them, and I hope that this has been helpful for people who had similar questions or the exact same questions. Maybe some of you were the ones who literally were Googling this stuff. I hope this is helpful, especially for you pre-meds and people that are in the current application cycle out there. Good luck, by the way, you're gonna do awesome. And I'm happy to do like future videos like this with different question stems if people would like that, if you think that would be helpful. So let me know, comment, DM me, either way works. And with that, that's all I've got. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it. Love you all. Have a fabulous rest of your day and catch you next week.